Kind of loud, ain't it? Sky Target for the Sega Saturn. I don't usually think of Sega Saturn games as being loud either. Dreamcast games are loud as hell. My theory on the Dreamcast games being loud as hell is that Sega were trying to drown out the sound of the disc drive because the disc drives on it are crazy loud. I have yet to see. I need to do it myself. Just get the one of those GTA 3 or GTA Vice City builds running on real hardware. Every time I see a claim that it's real hardware, they're always using like an ODE or something, you know. Nobody's actually running it off the GD-ROM drive. It's got to be crazy loud and super shitty. But I don't know. I'll try it out at some point. The drive in mine still works perfectly fine and never have any weird issues with it, so yeah, probably just give it a shot someday. I'm using the analog controls in this. This is compatible with the 3D control pad, so that's what I'm using. It does force you to use the stick in every menu too, which is kind of odd, because that had the D-pad and a stick, right? I don't know. I'm emulating it using a PlayStation controller, but anyway, that's the way it goes. Control's great. Except, and this is one of my biggest complaints about the game. When it slows down, usually it's very subtle that you're losing any frame rate at all. Also, here's another big complaint. It loads to show this video, like there's a load time for it. Probably because there's no video like hardware playback in the Saturn. It's like loading the player. But so you load, then you get a video, and then guess what? Another load screen for the game. But yeah, my other thing I was going to complain about is like, yeah, when it slows down a little bit, there's just a little bit of frame drop. There's quite a bit of input delay. Like it drops the responsiveness of the game more, even more than you can tell visually. There's a really good example of that real early here. When I come up on these boats, you may or may not be able to tell that it's slowing down here in a second, but it feels like way shittier. This is actually like a bad impression right off, and part of the game's presentation problems that I think people complain about. It gets better too. Is the funny thing. It just, what an odd choice to have that. They should have figured something that worked better and kept a better frame rate. At the end of the day, this is a port of Model 2 to the Saturn, which is always a huge change, you know. There's been some miracles done, like Virtua Fighter 2, but this is not one of the miracles. This is just, I don't know. It's a good little action game. This game's real sin as being such a rental. I was like, I probably don't have to. I mean, I'm not saying I'll beat it or anything, but you probably don't have to be all that good to beat it, especially on easy. It's not a very long game. It doesn't offer any alternate modes or anything, really. It's just, you play it and you shoot stuff, and that's it. It's got 4 different ships. So that's kind of cool. It's got these bosses. I think there's good variety in the game. I actually find it a more interesting game than like Afterburner Climax. And I use that as a comparison because that's the next flight shooter they did that was like an airplane game. Like they did a bunch of other flight shooters between here and there with the Panzer Dragoon and Rez and all that. But I think Planet Harrier maybe lands somewhere in here. But as far as like one that's just straight up like an Afterburner style game, this is the last one until what is that, like 15 years later when we got Afterburner Climax, or however long it was, 12 years later, whatever. I might play that at some point. I think Techno Parrot runs it. That might be a good way to play it. I have it on Xbox. I just don't know that it's installed, or if it's been delisted. I don't know what the deal is with it on there. Oh shit. There's no throttle control in this, so it's an even simpler game with Afterburner. Yet still not as simple as the G-Loc games, especially the 16-bit conversions of them, including Afterburner 3, which is basically a port of G-Loc. Or it's G-Loc's sequel, which I think is called like Strike Fighter or something. Also, yeah, this one doesn't limit your missiles and make you refill or anything like that. It is a simpler game. Yet at the same time, it has way more level variety, these cool bosses and shit. So it's just different. I wish this had been more of a guide to Afterburner's Climax's design. Like, keep the Afterburner things, like controlling throttle and fucking having limits on ammo and stuff's fine, but like, I think throwing in, you know, big bosses with cool fights and shit like that's a good idea too. We'll do jungle this time. We can always choose different ones next time. I don't think I've ever beaten this. I'm not good at it or anything. But I'm not playing it for score either. I'm just going to burn through credits and we'll see what happens, you know. Try different ships. It's pretty fun. If you like Panzer Dragoon and stuff like that, you'll like this one too. It's cool. Shit. Oh, shit. Nice. There we go. I don't think you ever get any health back. There's not any power-ups. Again, very simple game. Not bad, just simple. A simpler, kind of dumber version of Star Fox. But smoother playing. It's actually quite smooth, and it's funny that it has that bad, like I said, that bad impression at the beginning. Also, yeah, this game uses a lot of transparency in the arcade, I think. Which I say I think because I don't remember the arcade well. It seems like there's a lot of cross-hatching in this game. There's a lot right now, that's for sure. As you know, Saturn can't do transparency on 3D objects, just on 2D backgrounds, as far as I know. Like tile layers. You might be able to modify those 3D, so I could be wrong. But there's very strict limits to how they're layered. The other way that the Saturn could achieve transparency would be if somebody just wrote a software transparency routine for the rendering. Like, there's a way you could do that, I'm sure. To just some really, like, low color depth, alpha blending or something. It would affect performance quite a bit, I'd imagine. That's why nobody ever did that. I don't see why you couldn't do it. It's just be doing, like, some sort of software rendering thing. I guess I shouldn't say no one ever did that either. I'm sure that they did for certain things, but I could see 2D games using stuff like that. Like have certain effects or whatever that are at least rotation and scaling modified. The Saturn's real weird the way it works. Everything's, instead of being like triangles rendered together, they're quadrilaterals. They're all squared, or they're all four-sided, you know. Which generally helps with texture warping, but it doesn't have any kind of geometry processor, like the same as the PlayStation, as far as I know. So it does still have, and this game's a pretty bad example of it. Still has like some pretty serious texture warping. There's no perspective correction or whatever. Yeah, this I just mentioned that right before, like the worst example of it. Around the edges of the screen, you can see some of the most extreme example of that on the Saturn. Damn. Oh, nice. You get to blow up a train. That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. This game has a lot of cool stuff in it. Definitely not like just, you know, total skip over this game entirely because it's crap kind of thing. That maybe the old reviews and stuff would give you that impression. And people don't talk about this one a lot, so I just figured, yeah, this is something worth bringing up and showing that it's worth playing. It would have been, like I said, a really good rental. You'd rent this, have fun all weekend shooting stuff, and then that'd be enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. We did some Sky Target. It was good times were had. Dropping $40 to own it. I don't know, man. You know. That's $1997 to own it. So just basically just paying full AAA game prices for this. Would you? Nah, you wouldn't feel like you got a great deal because there's not a lot in the game. There's better games from around this time that are like this, like Omega Boost on the PlayStation is probably a cooler game. Even those, I mean, you drop full price for a game, you wanted a little bit more. That was kind of always the way it was. The Dreamcast reeked of this problem, by the way. It's a great system, and I love the games on it. But you gotta love simple arcade games, because like they didn't put in like a lot of Sega release stuff, especially the Sega release stuff, just didn't have anything extra in it at all. Some notable exceptions there would be like the Daytona port. That one's real weird. It was done by Genki. But like, yeah, stuff that was from other publishers like Namco, Soul Calibur had tons of content. Virtua Fighter 3 though from Sega, not so much. Not the worst though. But yeah, some of those games like Cannon Spike or whatever, you barely get a game. You know, it's just a simple arcade game. It is what it is. I wonder if True Motion's the video player. I bet it is. So yeah, it took me a little over 15 minutes to burn through all my credits and die on the 4th level, and that's a typical game of Sky Target. Let's do some more Sky Target. Oh, you can change the camera angle where it's more zoomed out. I don't like that though because it makes the ship move more independently of the camera. So you probably won't see me mess with it. I guess there's a different intro video for each plane.
Prepare for immediate takeoff for interception. Over.
So this is the other view. You know what? I don't know though. Not so bad. So it's a little harder to aim though, yeah, because you're moving the ship around instead of the angle of the camera. Let's switch back. Can't deal with the barrel wall in this game no matter what either, huh? That's kind of a bummer.
You're looking great. Now for the appetizer. Fire! Fire! Fire!
Shit. Awesome. So yeah, there's a very short draw distance in this game. which wouldn't be the case if they used VDP2 to like do like an infinite plane render, but they use that for the probably the skybox, I guess, anyway. And the terrain is too 3D for them to do something like that. But it's a lot different when you're dealing with something that has to be completely flat versus something that actually has terrain in it. Shit. Oh shit. There's so much at once. God damn. They really bombarded me with everything at once. Oh shit. Didn't take it out fast enough. Well, that can happen. Cloud. Canyon. We've seen Canyon. Let's do Cloud. Whatever the fuck that is. I assume it involves clouds. Oh yeah. Hope you guys like cross-hatching. Here it is at its finest. Cross-hatching on top of other cross-hatching. Oh hell yeah, we got all that. I bet this looks much cooler on a phone than it does on a giant ass TV right in front of me. Shit. Sky Target, y'all. Be right back in just a minute. Alright, now back with more of the very Sega Saturn games. Sky Target for the Sega Saturn. Port of the Sega Model 2 arcade game, Sky Target. Daredevil Air Force.
This is Control. This is Control. Enemies sighted in the area. Prepare for immediate takeoff for interception. Over.
Like, what the hell is this music even? It's insane. That's part of this game's charm, I think.
We survived.
Oh shit. That crowd was exceptionally short. Vajira. That sounds something.
There's a large missile approaching from below. Destroy it.
What's the dive level here? Shit. This is what happened last time, right? Where I had to continue right at the end of this boss and I was holding off the wrong buttons here. Come on, it's weird about the targeting sometimes. Shit, I didn't target a single damn thing coming in there. I'm taking every bit of damage that I possibly can too. I'll probably get a stream in tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon also. One or the other, or maybe even both. Planning on doing Airbuster, also known as Arrow Blaster. Really good shooter from Canco. Canco? I don't know how the name's pronounced either. But very good arcade shooter. I'll be playing the Genesis and Mega Drive version. The game compressed to fit on, I believe, an 8 megabit cartridge, and heavily compressed. One of the few Genesis games to have significant load times between levels, with like a load screen basically. So, worth it though. You get a really good port of the game. And I think it's quite a bit better than the TurboGrafx and PC Engine version, which is also very good. It's a really fun game no matter how you play it, so I'd recommend it. Canyon's an easier level than that fucking cloud nightmare, so I'm gonna try it instead. This is like the 6th level, right? I'm actually getting pretty far. Yeah. I do seem to be getting better. What I say is I get just pelted over and over and over again. Get something up real quick here. Does this game have any sort of cheats or anything? $60 medals in ranking mode gets you a new plane. That's crazy. Beat the ranking mode with at least 3 stars for each mission. I don't know if that's 2 different planes or not. There's no like unlimited credits or anything like that though. I'd have to use emulator tricks. And I don't even know if those work well with the Saturn emulator. Saturn's a really complicated thing to emulate, but Beetle Saturn does a really good job of it. And that's what I'm using. There's the F-14, F-15, and F-16, which we've already done, and then the Rafale, which is the last one. Rafale M.
This is flight deck. This is flight deck. Ready for takeoff. Good luck and bam!
This one seems to control the best, though, for sure. At least I feel like it's one of the easiest to get around and aim correctly with. Who the fuck knows that? Getting hit just as much or more than often. More often than usual. Sounds like the kind of shit you'd expect to hear in a Darius game. Oh yeah, definitely. Sounds like Zuntata at their weirdest. That is a terrible amount of life to scrape through the first level with. Absolutely embarrassing.
You're really living it up, but you still...
Yeah, this one's not doing well at all. Shit. Oh man, I'm getting rocked a lot there. At least it's boss time, huh? Got it. There we go.
We've heard that the enemy is planning a massive missile attack. Avert it!
Shit. The boss I'd never seen before. It's a great rolling tank. This is a little bit further than I ever made it on it before. Give me one moment and I'll decide what I'm going to do for my next move. I don't know if I'm going to play more of this, something different, wrap it up. Give me a second to think about it. I'll be right back.
The XF-A-49 fighter, possessing unsurpassed firepower and seek and destroy capabilities, has been stolen. You must destroy it before it falls into the hands of another country. Repeat, you must destroy it.
Oh yeah, this was published under Sega Sports title. This is another Model 2 arcade port from 1997 of a 1996 arcade game from Sega. Another game that I think is really good and just mostly suffers from being very shallow and not having enough content really for the home version. And even compared to Sega Rally, this doesn't seem like a great value in terms of how much game you get here, despite it being good. So, just kind of, and of the two Sega published motorcycle racing games, this is the far better game than Hang On GP, which is just not good. This game's pretty good though. Oh, it does have a Saturn mode. I don't know what that entails necessarily. Oh, okay, so this uses the triggers. Okay. There's a bunch of different view buttons. Gearing would be done with L1 and R1 probably on this control scheme. Yeah, this makes sense. I like it.
Please select the course. Please select manual or automatic transmission. Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1.
A little bit of getting used to here.
Passing the checkpoint.
Maybe I am better off in first person in this game. That's wild. That's some wild and awful shit right there. Probably not. Probably better off in third person. Just gotta get used to it. That's all.
Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint.
Very tough to make some of these turns. Definitely take some practice.
Passing the checkpoint.
Damn, that's pretty rough.
Please select the course. Please select manual or automatic transmission. Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1. Great start! Passing the checkpoint! Passing the checkpoint! Passing the checkpoint!
Oh man. It's a pretty tough game to do really well at.
Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint.
And even with practice, it still came out for it. Is there an option to maybe make the game easier? That's probably what I need. Let's see if we can set this shit on super duper easy for people who suck at the game mode. Because I know the other tracks are going to be unplayably and insanely difficult if I can't. Nope. Control, sound, records.
Please select the course.
Oh, there's only 2 courses. Holy shit.
Please select manual or automatic.
Truly a content-rich game.
Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1.
Shit. Bad landing. And this is hard as fuck. This is just crazy hard game. It take a lot of practice to do well at. Barely hanging in there at this point. Any time out on this shit. Looking like I probably will. Yep.
Time is up and you didn't finish.
Now we need to see what the Saturn mode is or consists of. Yeah, this doesn't feel like much of a complete game either. It feels incomplete, partial. Like a downloadable game, but not like a real game.
Please select the race mode. Please select the course. Please select the lap. Please select the bike. Please select manual or automatic transmission.
This is just the same game with way more options.
Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's so weird to try and do this from first person. Just because of how much the ground tilts at you. So practice is any settings you want. What's challenge? Is that like a preset challenges? That would almost be more interesting than any of this shit.
Please select the bike. Please select manual or automatic transmission.
Yeah, challenge just throws you right into something.
Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1. Great start! Passing the checkpoint!
This might actually be less content than Ridge Racer had, the original Ridge Racer. So, it's a better port than Daytona was, though. This would have been a better pack end to the Saturn. It came out like a year later, 2 years later. That's the thing, man. Is the Saturn, yeah, late in its life, is putting out stuff like these games that I played today. But they're not bad games. They're actually good games. They're fun. They're not good values for like people buying games, which is what the Saturn needed to do, was increase its attach rate so that it was successful, you know. So that's, I think, a big fuck up that they repeated from the Saturn to the Dreamcast, which is bringing home bare bones arcade ports. It didn't have any extra stuff in them. It's just, you know, a quick shot of arcade game, and that's fine for, you know, at a certain price point. It's fine, but it doesn't feel like a good value for a full price game.
Passing the checkpoint.
And that's just a fact.
Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint. Passing the checkpoint.
Damn, in second place, we still ran out of time. That's brutal.
Time is up and you didn't finish. Please select the course.
Yeah, it's mostly just to practice the arcade game until you get good at it, kind of thing.
Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1.
There's something really cool this game does when you come out of the bridge, by the way. I don't know if anyone noticed. Because it's expected in modern games, but it fades to white quickly to simulate like the brightness blinding you, basically, as you return to the light. It's very subtle and well done, and like I said, nowadays games always do it. But this was like one of the only home racing games to have that effect in it until they brought it back in like Need for Speed Most Wanted in 2006 or some shit. Appreciate it. Yeah, second place is by far the best I've done.
Please select the course. Please select manual or automatic transmission.
It's a JFK that's giving you these options. Manual or automatic transmission. I can't even fucking do that accent.
Get ready to race! 3, 2, 1.
You'd think they'd use like a British guy since it's Isle of Man, right? No.
Passing the checkpoint.
Shit. Did a lot of ping ponging there. This is a much more complicated course though than the other, of course.
Passing the checkpoint.
control of everything there for a minute. I'm still in it. Maybe. Really bad turn to fuck things up at the end. Oh, one after another, I mean. God damn. I went everything. Hey, at least I finished. That's something. I'm too tired to go on, unfortunately. It was just a little quick fun. On both games. Those are just quick fun games, really. That's the ups and downs of it, like I talked about. Still, you know, if you like Sega arcade games, the Saturn ports aren't perfect. You know, it wasn't really an ideal machine for doing Model 2 games, which I think was a frustration for Sega. And I think it shines through in these games. Not everything has the brilliant design, like I said, of Retro Fighter. Most of these games are a lot rougher than that. Not terrible or anything, just noticeable step down with nothing really being added back in. They took away a bit of the spectacle without adding anything to the content or any gameplay changes that are significant enough to, you know, to really set them apart from their arcade versions. So, but they do have that Sega magic. They're fun. You want to keep trying them so you can do better at them and stuff like that. They do have that kind of going for them. And, well, like I said, in some ways I like Sky Target better than some of Sega's other shooters like that, because it has good variety and cool bosses and good music. I think I like it better than Afterburner Climax, even though that's a smoother playing game that has more to its gameplay, or at least I like it as much, because you get, you know, variety in the level design versus variety in the gameplay. It's kind of where it's at. But Sky Target's quite cool, and if you like Sega shooters, if you like Sega's flight combat and targeting shooter type games like Rez and Afterburner and Space Harrier and shit like that, check it out. Manx SuperBike, good Sega racing game. There's better stuff on the Saturn for racing games. There's that excellent F1 game. There's the Sega Rally, which I mentioned is probably, you know, a lot cooler than this, but this does play well. It has an interesting feel to it that you have to get used to. And great track designs. The problem, there's only 2 tracks, racing back and forth. I think that's the same amount of content the original Ridge Racer had, which in 1997 feels fairly scarce. Should have beefed this one up more before they brought it home. but otherwise, still pretty fun. Would have made a good rental, or if you could get a fair price on it, it's a good game for popping in and messing around with for an hour or two. So anyway, that's Sky Target and Manx